The exercise files for today's course are located in the video description below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Welcome to Microsoft PowerPoint Introduction. You're learning with Mo Jones, IT professional and educator. Let's take a look at what we'll be covering today for this very popular presentation application. We'll navigate the PowerPoint interface. We'll learn how to design presentations. Big part of PowerPoint is being able to insert and format text. We'll also insert and format images. We'll take it a step further. We'll work with objects such as text boxes, shapes, charts, tables, and we'll actually insert and manage tables, charts, and then we'll take a look at some of the animation and transition features just to make your presentation more dynamic and responsive. Go ahead and open up Microsoft PowerPoint and we'll dive right in.
Looking to support our channel and get a great deal? Become a member today to unlock ad-free videos. That's right, your favorite courses without a single ad. Interested in a specific video? Purchase one of our ad-free courses individually. Looking for even more? Gain access to exams, certificates, and exclusive content at LearnitAnytime.com. More information can be found in the video description below.
I'm going to go ahead and open up PowerPoint. Depending on the operating system that you use, just locate your app launcher and go ahead and open up PowerPoint. When you open PowerPoint for the first time, you're presented with the Start screen. And on the Start screen, we'll realize we have three big buttons here. One says Home, one says New, and one says Open. And the main thing with these three buttons, they all allow you to pretty much do a couple of different things here. You can find files that you have created. You can open files that you have created or open a template. You can also go ahead and create a presentation as well. Right now I'm on the Home tab, and the Home tab shows me all of my recent presentations that I've created. If I click on the New tab here, this gives me the chance to do something like create a new blank presentation, or I can go ahead and start from a template. So there's a lot of templates here that are already made for us. This is a really good start if you want a really good starting point to create a really professional looking document. These were created by professionals. They already have the slides inserted for you. You just need to go ahead and add your own content to these different ones here as well. I'll scroll down and we'll just quickly take a brief look at one here. So this one is for a sales pitch. So we can see a little preview, at least one of the slides. And over here on the right, we get a brief description of what this actually offers. If I wanted to go ahead and open this up, I can go ahead and click on Create. I'll click on Create here and I'll take a look at this. So this downloads the file for you. And we can see over here on the slide pane, we have 21 slides. So this is the first slide. This is the title slide. We can see that we have a background image in here. We have a few text boxes or content placeholders. And let's just preview this. So pretty nice placement of the text and the shapes and the images. So very nice, very organized, very simple to read. Now, one thing that you'll realize is the modern presentations, they resemble web interfaces. So a lot of the shapes and a lot of the colors that we'll see, they resemble web pages as well. This one uses a lot of white space, which is perfectly fine. If you can find a good way to balance that, that works well here as well. So basically all of this information here is a table, so we can plug our own information in here if we want to. Let's say this was 75,000. We can go ahead and do that. And then once we're done, we can go ahead and save it. Well, I'm going to go ahead and run this here. So to run the presentation, we'll talk about this in just a little bit, but down here on the taskbar, we have this little icon here. This will allow us to run the presentation or run the slideshow. Here's my slideshow. I can use the arrow keys to go to the next slide. I can press back to go to the first slide. I can even press up and down, so whichever way you want to navigate. You can also click on the slide. That brings you from one slide to the next. Down here on the bottom left, you'd see it's a little faded here, but we have some more controls here. We can go back, we can go forward, and we'll cover some of these other advanced features here in just a little bit as well. So go ahead and open up your version of PowerPoint. Once you're on the start screen, just click on New and go ahead and search for a presentation. Go ahead and download it and just preview it and come right back. Now that we've viewed a fully functional template, let's go ahead and create a new blank presentation. So right here, I'm still on my start screen. From the Home tab, I can go ahead and click on Blank Presentation. I can also get there from the New tab as well. Let's go ahead and create a new blank presentation. Here is my blank presentation. Let's take a look at some of the different components here. Here we can see all of our slides. Right now we have one slide. As we add slides, we'll see them appear here. We can see that we have our first slide. So this is actually a title slide. It's telling us to add a title and to go ahead and add a subtitle as well. So this slide is a pre-made slide. It has its own formatting and its own orientation in here as well. If you take a look at the bottom, you'll notice that we have, so this is our status bar. Down here we can do things like change the different views. Right now we're using the normal view. If we wanted to take a look at the reading view, here's the reading view. If we wanted to run the presentation in full screen mode, here is our presentation view here as well. We can also zoom in or out. Notice right now I'm currently at 89%. So depending on your monitor size and or resolution, you may notice a different size here. If I want to go ahead and make this a little bigger, if I click on the plus sign here, I can see it's making it bigger. If I click on the minus sign, it goes back down. But if I want it to fit perfectly, based on my current settings, I'll click on this auto fit here. And this will automatically fit it so I don't have to scroll up or sideways. So I'll click here, fit slide to current window. And it's telling me that based on my current settings, 89%, I'm good to go. We'll work with these areas in just a little bit here. Right now, here's our best friend, the ribbon. This is where we find all of our commands that we can use, such as inserting a new slide, such as changing the font. Once we start entering text, changing the paragraph options here as well. If we click on the Insert tab, we expect to find things that we can insert, such as a table or pictures or shapes or charts or text boxes and various types of media. We're going to be inserting a lot of things here into our PowerPoint before this course is over. If we click on the Design tab, we'll notice that we have different themes that we can select here. And if you just kind of mouse over them, we can see the preview of what our presentation would look like, at least the title slide as well. So that's the ribbon. The other part that we have here is the search box. Now this search box is pretty cool. It does more than just allows us to search things. We can get a quick tutorial. We can search for phrases in our document. Let's say I forgot how to zoom. I'll go ahead and type the phrase zoom in here. And this is the way that search box works. It gives us different pieces of information or opportunities. So the very first tier here, we have several actions that we can use. So I can use the fit to window command, the same thing that I did down here. I can go ahead and zoom to a particular level. And then we have find and slide. So I can go ahead and search for the phrase zoom in my presentation. But then down here is where it's really cool. We can get help. So maybe I forgot how to zoom in or out of a document. Down here on the bottom, I can get a quick tutorial. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. I'll type zoom in here, let me clear my annotations. I'll click on zoom in or out of a document. And just like that, it opens up a side pane over here for me. And it gives me a quick 1-2 in terms of how to zoom in to my document. Notice it's pointing me to my zoom bar here on my status bar, telling me I can either slide this, or I can go ahead and click on the minus or click on the plus to zoom in or out here as well. If I want to be more specific, I can choose a particular zoom setting. So if I click here, this expands the article further for me. So this is good. I don't need to go ahead and search the internet for an answer on how to zoom. Right here, I can go ahead and learn right here as well. If I want to expand the article, I can click on this link, and this will open up the article in a browser for me. I'll go ahead and close this here, and we're good to go. So go ahead and navigate the interface. Go ahead and take a look at the search bar. Go ahead and click on the different ribbon tabs here to see what we can do, see what commands are available. Go ahead and zoom in or out of your document. The last thing we can talk about here is right here we have the ribbon display options. Right now I can see my full ribbon. If I click on this drop down here, I have a couple of different options. I can go to full screen mode. If I want to just see the tabs, so I'll just see the tabs, but I don't see any of this information down here, I can show tabs only. So if I click here, so notice I'm only seeing tabs. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, this gives me a little more room. Now I can see more of my slide. And if you notice, when I switch to tabs only, now I can utilize more space. I'm at 98% as well. If I still need to access a command, for example, if I wanted to insert something, it's on demand now. So it shows me the ribbon here. And if I click away, it goes back. Now, it's your choice. You can either show the tabs, or once you click back here again, you'll notice that the ribbon display options will appear again. We can also press Ctrl plus F1 to collapse or expand the ribbon. I'll go back to always show ribbon, and I'm good to go. So go ahead and tour the interface and come right back. Now that we've toured the interface, let's go ahead and focus on our slide here. Let's break this slide down. So as we can see, we have one slide in here. Let's go ahead and add another slide. So this is the title slide. So from the Home tab, I can click on the New Slide drop down here. If I click on this arrow, this will show me the different types of slides that I can insert. So if I click here, I can see I have a few to choose from. I actually have 9 different types of slides that I can choose from. So right now, here's our title slide. Here we have title and content. We have section header. We have to content, comparison, title only. So just a title with a blank slide. We have a blank slide, caption on the left, content on the right, and we have a picture with caption here as well. I'm going to insert a title and content, and let's go ahead and compare those two slides. So now I have two because I did insert. So here's my title slide. And then down here, here is my title and content. Let's take a look at the title slide here. Now in the title slide, we'll notice that we have two what's called content placeholders. So this is a title content placeholder, and on the bottom, this is a subtitle content placeholder. So they're pre-made, they have their own special formatting in here. So for example, if I were to click inside of the title content placeholder, we can see that it's using the font size of 60. Well, let's click on the subtitle content placeholder and let's see what that is. So that is 24. So these are already predefined here. Now, we'll notice once we choose a design theme, some of these options will change as well. But for now, we have on this slide, we have a title placeholder and we have a subtitle placeholder. Let's take a look at slide number 2. So here's slide number 2. We can see that we have a title placeholder, and down here we have what's called a content placeholder. This is called a content placeholder because there's various types of content that we can insert. So we can insert a image either from online or from our device. We can insert icons, tables, charts, video. So a lot of different things that we can insert here. We can also add text. So if I just click in here, I have now activated this content placeholder, and I can type in here. Go ahead and do that. So for this particular content placeholder, the default font size is 28. Let's click on the title here. Now notice the title placeholder for this slide, it's not 60 like the title. This is 44. Right? So the title slide is meant to really stand out. So we have bigger and bolder font. But then for each of your slides, you don't want that same size. So this has a size of 44 as well. So those are the basics when working with slides. There's different types of layouts that we can use. And then for each slide has its own placeholders. Content placeholder, picture placeholder, different things that we can do here as well. Go ahead and insert a slide and go ahead and take a look at the difference between the two. We can also change this slide. So if I right click on the slide here, I'll go down to layout, and maybe I want to change this to content with caption. And we can see, so now we have a little more detail. We still have our content placeholder over here to the right, but we have a title and text over here as well. Insert a few slides, change the layouts, and take a look at the placeholders on each slide, and come right back. Welcome back. Well, let's go ahead and start designing our slide here. I'm going to delete the second slide. Now to delete a slide, I can simply click on it. I can see that it's highlighted here. And I can either press the delete key or I can right click on it and choose the delete slide command. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and delete this slide. I'll go ahead and put a title in here. So I'll call this PowerPoint. And I'll go ahead and put module 1 here. Why not? So PowerPoint module 1. So we've started. We see we can just simply click on a placeholder and start typing content in there. Now, I don't have any colors in here. Everything is just black and white, very plain. So the next logical thing to do is choose a design. So let's go ahead and click on the design tab. And now we have what's called themes. So we're basically going to go ahead and choose a theme. And depending on the theme that you choose, you have what's called variants. So maybe you want a different variation of that particular theme. Maybe that theme is also available in blue or purple or orange. We can go ahead and do that. So the first thing I want to do is choose a theme. By default, we're using the basic office theme here. Here's the first one, facet. So we can see it adds some, I'll go ahead and actually click on there. So we can see, kind of add some details in here. Let's go ahead and insert a slide as well. So let's go ahead and insert a new slide. Now, take a look at the different slide layouts that are available. Remember, originally we had 9, now we have quite a few more here. So each theme will have their own kind of special layouts that you can use here. For example, this one has a name card that we can use. Let's just add a title and content. And let's go back to the design tab. Now let's just continue previewing the different designs here that we can use. I'll click on the gallery theme here. We can see that that's what that looks like. So here's my title slide, and here's my title and content slide. So usually spend a little bit of time choosing the theme that is right. Here's another theme. Here's one of my favorite. Here's the Ion Boardroom theme. And so I'll go ahead and choose Ion Boardroom. And then I'm going to go ahead and choose one of these different variants here. So I have 4 different ones that I can choose from. Let's see what this would look like with this color. Here's the bluish color. And also here's the more orange color here as well. So we can use that. Organic is pretty nice as well. That also comes with variants. We can go ahead and choose one. Very classy. This one looks very classy. So go ahead and choose one and just take a look and see what slide layouts are available. And take a look and see how it's actually changing the look and feel of your presentation here. I'm going to go ahead and choose, let's see, where is dividend? I like dividend. Can't find it right now. Here it is. I like dividend. If you just hover over it, it gives you the name of it. I'll go ahead and use this. And I'll change it to this variant here as well. So pretty nice, very modern, very classy. Finally, let's see what displays. Okay, so we just have the basic layouts here. So go ahead and take a look at that. Go ahead and click on the Design tab. Choose a theme, choose a variant, and then take a look at the different slide layouts that are available and come right back. Welcome back. Okay, so I have my title slide here, PowerPoint Module 1. I have my title and content here. Let's just go ahead and document what we've learned so far. So I'll go ahead and put Lesson 1 in here. And Lesson 1 was all about getting started. Now you notice with this particular theme that I selected, it's automatically capitalizing all of the letters that I type here in the title area. I'll go ahead and click inside of my content placeholder here, and we'll just talk about some things that we learned here. We talked about the start screen. We talked about the ribbon. And I'm just working with a list here. So if I just press enter, we can see I'm working with a bulleted list. Most of the content placeholders that we work with, they will incorporate bullets as well. So start screen, ribbon. We also talked about just different slide layouts. And we're able to take a look at content placeholders. Okay, so content placeholders here. That's pretty much what we covered here in Lesson 1. For Lesson 2, let's go ahead and insert a new slide. Let's go ahead and also insert a title and content. So with Lesson 2, we started talking about just how to develop a presentation. So developing a presentation. So one of the first things we need to do is choose a design. Able to choose a design / theme and optionally choose a variant as well. So that's what we've done so far. Let's continue developing our presentation here in Lesson 2. Now, we're still talking about design here. Now, one of the things that's available is the designer. Now, the designer, it's right here on my home tab, all the way to the far right. We can see I have my designer right here. Now, what the designer is, let's see if we mouse over it, gives us a little detail, opens the designer pane for instant slide makeovers. So what if you chose a theme, but you're not, you want a little more flexibility, you want a little more content on your slide? Let's take a look and see, based on the content that we have on this slide, let's see what the designer will provide for us. So I'll click on the designer here. Now notice when I clicked on the designer, it's giving me different slides to be able to choose from. So this is using an infographic. So it's creating an infographic for me that I can use. The third one here puts a picture on the left. So the designer basically analyzes the content that's on your slide, and then it tries to create a slide based on the text that you have on here or pictures. Now, the designer really likes pictures. If I were to add a picture in here, we would see a lot more options that are available. But let's just scroll down here. So basically, if you like one of these designs, you can go ahead and just click on it. And that will actually convert your slide to that particular design. I'll go ahead and choose this one here. And as you can see, it converted our text into what's called SmartArt. We'll cover SmartArt at another time, but it created a nice infographic for us here as well. I can press Ctrl-Z to undo that. So would you rather have your slide look like this? Or would you rather have it look like this? I can always change this if I want to. So if I go back to the top here, let's see, this one has a picture on the left. Okay, so that looks pretty nice. Nice little accent color here as well. So you can always change them. But I like these. It's giving us some nice, simple layouts to choose from here as well. Now this is on a per slide basis. This is not going to change every slide for you. If I go back to the title slide here, we'll notice that we have different options that are available. If I want to see more, I can click on See More Designs. So that's how the designer works. Sometimes it will not find a design for you right away. You can always come back a little later and apply a design here as well. I'm going to go ahead and choose one of these. I'll choose this one. Nice and elegant. And for my second slide, I'll go ahead and convert that to an infographic. So not so bad. We use the designer. We have 3 really nice looking slides. We did not have to worry about placing these objects on here and making sure that they align properly. The designer took care of that for us. Everything is lined up. Everything is kind of snapped to the grid here as well. So go ahead and turn on the designer. Go ahead and apply a couple of designs to your first 3 slides and come right back. Welcome back. Well, hopefully you found a design theme that you like. Hopefully you're able to design each of your slides individually by using the designer here. So for lesson 2, we'll continue talking about developing a presentation. I just added another line here, designing slides with the designer. So when we're developing a presentation, the first step is kind of choosing your design. And after that is adding content. Now, once you add content, the next thing that you may want to do is to either, well, really to work with the text. So here's my text here on slide number 3. It looks a little small. I have a lot of space here at the top and on the bottom. And let's go ahead and take a look and see. I'll go ahead and just highlight the text here. I can double click to highlight a word. I can triple click to highlight an entire row. And once I do that, I can see that this is using the font size of 18. Now, based on the theme that I've selected, it uses its own font as well, right? Because a theme, basically a theme, I'll put the detail here. I'm going to press enter, and I'll press tab. So a theme is basically a set of fonts, colors, and effects. So each theme has its own set of fonts, colors, and effects. So that's why we notice that the font type has changed here. Okay, well, let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of font commands. Maybe I want to change the color here. Maybe I want to change the, change the effect. Maybe make some with the text shadow, some bold, italicized. Let's take a look at some of these different font commands here. I'm going to highlight my first row here, and I'll go ahead and make that bold. Right. And I can go ahead and make that italicized. I can go ahead and use the text shadow here. So the text shadow kind of gives it a nice shadow behind it. I'll go ahead and remove the bold and italicize from there. So it's just a subtle way to kind of call attention to something here as well. What about, let's see, what else can I do here? Now, here's the strike through. So this kind of crosses it out for me. So we're just kind of exploring the different font commands that are available. Now, what about, here's the change case. Now this is pretty neat. I can do something like capitalize each word. So notice all of my words are capitalized here. So like a title. So I can do that. I'm going to remove the strike through here. I'll remove the text shadow. If I want to make it all uppercase, I can go ahead and do that. But I think I'm good. I'm just going to leave it as sentence casing here as well. Now I do want to make everything a little bigger. Right now it's 18. So I want to increase the size. So I'm going to highlight all of the content in here. And what I'll do is I'll click on the big A here. And this will make my text just a little bit bigger. And maybe about there. I just want to make sure it's not as big as my title. So my title is 28. And now I'm at 24. So that looks pretty good. I can go ahead and do that. Now this is a level 2 item here because I indented this. So by default, it's smaller than the level 1 item here as well. So I'll go ahead and make this italicized. If you like shortcuts, as you hover over these different commands, if a shortcut is available, it will be displayed for you. So if I wanted to make this text bold, I can press Control B. Control I will italicize it for me. Control U will place the underline there as well. So we can use those font commands. I'm going to go ahead and make that italicized, and maybe I'll make that all uppercase as well. Also change the color. Now, when you're changing colors in PowerPoint, you'll notice that you have what's called theme colors. So again, remember, a theme is a set of colors, fonts, and effects. So these are the different colors that come with this particular theme, this dividend theme that I chose here. We have different varieties of that color. And then we always have these standard colors down here as well. Now, you want to kind of stay away from the standard colors because the professional that created this theme, these colors work together well. So if I choose any of these colors, it's not going to adversely affect the look and feel of my text there. But if I were to choose a standard color, I can kind of see it's not really a nice contrast right away. Not all of them, just some of them here as well. So maybe I want to change this. Not a lot of color options available here. A lot of kind of, dull colors. But there you go. So I can go ahead and change that if I want to. We also have the highlighter. So if you wanted to highlight something, you can use the highlighter here. Not a big fan of it though. I typically don't use that. So we can do that as well. So we can change the font size. We can apply these different font commands here as well. I can also go ahead and maybe, change my bullets. So right now, because of this particular theme, I have these square bullets. If I click on the bullets drop down here, I can change that to maybe arrows or star bullets or hollow square bullets. I'll use hollow square and I'm good to go. I'm going to go ahead and remove this highlighting here so I can say no color. Another really nice tool that I like to use in the font command group is this little eraser here. Now what this does, this will allow us to remove the formatting from any chunk of text. So if I wanted to reset this here back to the default text, I can go ahead and click here. And notice how it puts it back to normal for me, with the exception of the sentence casing. So I can go ahead and do that as well. So go ahead and insert some text. Go ahead and take a look at the different font commands that are available and come right back. Welcome back. So that wraps up lesson 2. So we're able to choose a design theme, or we're able to design slides with the designer, and we're able to add some content here as well. Let's go ahead and insert a new slide. There's several ways that we can do this. Let's go ahead and turn on our notes actually. This way we can kind of document any kind of tips and tricks that we're learning here as well. So I'll click on notes here. This opens up my notes pane, and now I can go ahead and type in here. So a shortcut for us, if we want to insert a slide, we can press Control plus M as in Mary. That will insert a slide for us. Or if I click on that third slide here and just press the Enter key, it basically inserts the same type of slide for me. So I have the title and content here as well. If I press Control Z to undo that, the other way is I can click on the new slide drop down here like we did before, and I can go ahead and choose another type. But if I just want the title and content, I can just press Control M, or I can just press the Enter key as long as I have the slide selected here. Just going to press Enter here, and here is my slide. Let's put the lesson 3 in here. And lesson 3 is all about formatting content. Now, when it comes to content, we'll talk about just a few here. So we're able to format some text. We're going to format our placeholder. And then we'll go ahead and format a text box as well. So when it comes to formatting text, one of the things that we can do, we can always highlight the text, and we can apply one of these font commands if we want to. But let's go ahead and use the Shape Format tab to format all the text that's inside of our placeholder here. Now, if you notice, I'm clicked inside of my placeholder, and take a look at the border. We can see that we have a dashed line or a dotted line. I'm going to go ahead and click on the border here. Once I click on the border, I notice that I have a solid line. Now, when you do that, that's the same thing as selecting all of the text inside of the placeholder here. So I clicked on the border, I have a solid line, and now I can do something like change the font color for all of my content that's in there. I can make everything bold if I want to. So that's one thing that we can do. I'm going to put this back to black here. Now, I want to introduce you to what's called a Contextual tab. I'll put this up here. Okay. So the Contextual tab is the key to formatting different objects. Right? So I'll put that in the notes here. Format objects. Objects are things like text boxes, charts, tables, and so forth and so on. Images, icons, shapes. So notice when I click inside of my placeholder here, if you take a look at the end of my ribbon, I have what's called Shape Format. So this is contextual or on demand. It only appears when I'm interacting with an object. So if I click on the blank area on my canvas here, notice it goes away. It's no longer there. But if I click inside of my title placeholder, I get Shape Format. If I click here inside of my content placeholder, I get Shape Format. Let's click on that and let's see what we can do. So what I can do is I have let's take a look at word art first. So I'll click on Shape Format. I want to make sure I clicked on the border here. And here's just some different word art that we can use. Word art, they come with a lot of different types of formatting. So this one has a black with a shadow. So here's the second one, blue, gray, accent color 1, shadow. So some of these are very subtle or very intense. So it's a quick way to just kind of call attention to your content by using one of these word art styles. Some are very simple, some are very, very complex. You can click here, we can see all the word art styles that are available. I'll go with the basic shadow, almost like actually it did apply the text shadow for us. So it's the same command. Let's go ahead and format this content placeholder. I'm going to resize it. So I'll click here. I'm just going to drag it over to about there. Don't need for it to be that big. And I'll click on shape format. Now, once we click on the shape format, this is the key to formatting content. Once we click on here, we can do things like give it a shape style, or we can give it a shape effect. We can resize it using the resizing tool. We can even align it here as well. Let's just take a look at some shape styles that are available. What if I wanted to put a background color just inside of my content placeholder, not the entire slide? What if I wanted some effects, a nice border around here as well? Well, that's what a shape style is. If you click on shape style, here are the different styles that are available. Very simple. Then it gets a little more complex as we go down the list. So we can see this first row here is just an outline color, just different theme color outlines. If I click on the more options here, here are all of these shape styles that are available. So that second row combines a fill color with a border color. So I can use that. If we go down the list, we have different effects. So we have some gradient effect, kind of like a two-tone look. We have shadows. Then we have shadow with a glow as well. So the bottom line is you don't have to just settle for the default layout of your content placeholders. You can give it a quick style if you want to. Just going to go ahead and give this a basic one. So I'll just give it a basic style here. And let's take a look at shape effects. With different presets. So here's a preset 1. So it gives it that nice kind of white border. Looks a little three-dimensional. And so just go ahead and check them out. Different presets. Right, there's a basic one and the shadow on the bottom right. So we have shadows that we can use, some basic shadows or some more complex shadows. We have reflections. Some are subtle, some are intense. We have glows. So we can give it an outside glow if we want to. We have soft edges and we have bevels as well. I'll just give it I'll leave mine as is here as well. Right. Then of course we can go ahead and resize this if we want to. Make it higher or wider. We can go ahead and do that as well. So go ahead and add some content to your content placeholder. Click on the shape format tab, toggle some of the different shape styles, some of the different effects. Check out word art as well and come right back. Let's continue lesson 3. So we took a look at the contextual tab, in this case the shape format. We're able to insert some text. We formatted the text using a couple of the word art styles here. And we're able to format the placeholder by either choosing a shape effect or a shape style, also being able to resize it here as well. Let's go ahead and insert an object. Let's insert a text box. Let's click on the Insert tab, and from the Insert tab, let's go ahead and insert a text box from the text command group. So this is an object that we're actually adding here. So we can draw a text box anywhere, and text boxes are great because we can resize them, we can add a style to them, we can add text to it. I'll go ahead and click here. Now we have to draw it. So here's my little drawing tool. So I'm just going to draw it. You can make it as big as you want to. You can always resize it a little later. I'm just going to go to about here, make it about that big. So as soon as I enter my text box here, I'm going to go ahead and add some content in there. And then I'll take a look at the shape format to see what's available. Now these two are identical. So my text box and my content placeholder, you'll notice a lot of the same tools are available once we start interacting with our text box here as well. Actually, before I start adding text, I'll click on the shape format tab. I'll go ahead and give this a quick style. We'll go ahead and we'll go with this orange here. I'm actually going to go ahead and change my variant here. So I'll click on the Design tab and I'll go for a more blue color here, just for purposes of this demonstration. So I'll just change my variant to blue. Again, you can always change at any point in your presentation before you deliver it. So I'll go ahead and add some content here for my text box. Okay. So I'll say use the Contextual tab to format objects. Okay. Text boxes. I'll just say text boxes gives more control. Right. So there we go. So here's my text box. So I can move it. So what if I wanted to go ahead and move this text box somewhere else? What I can do is click on the border. So take a look at my cursor. It's that diagonal arrow. If I move my cursor inside of the text box, I have my basically typing cursor here. If I move my cursor to the border or the outside, it changes to this four-way crosshair. Now that lets me know I can grab it. So now I can go ahead and move it. So I click and drag and I can move it to anywhere I want to on the slide. So maybe I want to place it down here towards the bottom. I can go ahead and do that. But let's get a little help here. Maybe I want to go ahead and snap it exactly to the bottom right of my slide here. So I'll click on Shape Format. And over here in the Arrange command group, I'll choose the alignment here. So I'll click on Align. So first I want to align it to the bottom of the slide. Notice how it snaps it to the bottom of the slide for me. And next I want to go ahead and align it to the right. So there you go. I can snap it right to the bottom right if I want to. If I click back on here and decide later I want to align it to the middle, I can go ahead and do that. I can align center. There we go. Right. Or I can just go ahead and drag it down here as well. I'm going to align it to the bottom right. So bottom, and then align it to the right. And there we go. So those are text boxes. If we want to, we can actually copy and paste this text box. If I right click on it, I can copy it and I can paste. And this allows me to have the exact replica here as well. And there we go. So those are text boxes. I'm going to go ahead and move this back up here. And there we go. So go ahead and insert a few text boxes, add some content in there, click on the Shape Format tab, and go ahead and give it a quick style. Come right back. Welcome back. So that concludes Lesson 3, Formatting Content. As we continue with our course, we'll be spending a lot of time working with the contextual tabs that appears when we insert different objects. Let's go ahead and insert another slide for Lesson 4. And this time we want a to content slide. Let's go ahead and insert that. Here are two content placeholders. One on the left, one on the right. So let's go ahead and put in Lesson 4 here. And Lesson 4 is all about graphical elements. So when we talk about graphical elements, we talk about pictures, we talk about icons, and so forth and so on. So let's go ahead and insert an image. Now, several ways we can insert an image. Right here in the content placeholder, we can see that we have two options here to insert an image. We can also click on the Insert tab. So if we click on the Insert tab, we can insert pictures. And we'll get a list of different types of pictures that we can add. We can also do it right here from the content placeholder. The first one here is stock images. The second one is pictures. So if I click here, it opens up the folder structure on my computer. Let's click on stock images. So these are the Microsoft stock images that we can reuse. Now, when we get here, here's the stock images dialog. There's different things that we can search for. So by default, we're looking for images, but we can also search for icons. We have cutout people, stickers, videos, illustration, and cartoon people. So there's a lot of different content that we can add here as well. So if you click on icons, let's just quickly preview them. Icons are pretty cool. There's pretty much an icon for everything that you want to express. And they always come in the same size. They're always one by one. We have cutout people. So we have Carrie, we have Stanley, Lance, so forth and so on. And they have different expressions that we can use to drive a point home in our slide. And of course, we have stickers. Everyone loves stickers. We have short videos. These are about 10 seconds or so, maybe 12. We have illustrations that we can use, kind of like icons, but they have a little more color, a little more detail. And then we have cartoon people that we can use here as well. But let's go ahead and insert an image. We want to insert an image, then we want to go ahead and edit that actual image or format that image using the Contextual tab that will appear after we insert our image. So I'll go ahead and search for an image here. I'll look for something related to learning. You can look for any picture you want. Let's see. I'll scroll down here, look for something. Let's change that. Maybe I'll look for something with a team. I'll go ahead and grab this one here. Nice colors in here. I'll go ahead and insert that picture. So it inserts that picture for us right inside of that content placeholder, which is very, very nice. If I were to insert this picture, sometimes what happens is the picture appears so big that it's kind of like going off of your slide. In that case, we would need to click on the format. But let's keep it simple. Let's go ahead. This is a very nice picture. Let's go ahead and click on the picture format. And the first thing we'll notice is that we have different picture styles that we can choose from. On the far left, we have some adjustments that we can make as well, some corrections, recolor. Let's preview them and let's see what we can do. We want to get to picture styles eventually, but let's go ahead and take a look and see what's available here. So here's some different corrections. So I can either sharpen or soften the picture if I want to. Take a look at my picture as I'm hovering over these different options. So I can brighten the picture. Just some simple edits that we can do to this particular picture. Here is color. So I can recolor it, the saturation, really saturated here, 400%. I can change the color tone, temperature change, and then I can recolor it if I want to. So lots of pretty cool things that we can do. We have different artistic effects. So if I wanted to make this look more like a marker or a pencil grayscale or a pencil sketch, I can go ahead and do that. So some pretty nice ones here as well. Right, there's glassy look. So pretty nice. We have transparency. And then we'll head on over here to different picture styles. I always use picture styles when I insert a picture. You don't want it to appear flat on our canvas. You want it to stand out. So click on that picture format and let's take a look at these different styles that we can use. So here's a simple frame white. So just puts a nice white frame on the outside. And go ahead and preview those. So here's a metal frame. That looks pretty cool. Here's a basic shadow. Here's one of my favorites. Reflected rounded rectangle. If we click here on the all, we can see all of the picture styles that are available. And here's my favorite, this bevel rectangle. Nice modern look and feel here as well. I'll go ahead and choose one more. My other one that I like is this one. It's a reflected bevel black. So pretty nice. Just like with our shape format, we have picture effects as well. Different presets that we can use. We can sometimes combine them with a picture style. Sometimes they override each other. So typically you're either choosing a picture style or you're creating your own picture effect by choosing a shadow, reflection, glow, and so forth and so on. So go ahead and insert a picture. Go ahead and click on the picture format tab. Take a look at some of the adjustments and go ahead and choose a picture style. Come right back. We'll take a look at a few more tools. Welcome back. Hopefully you had fun taking a look at those picture format styles here. Let's take a look at a few more tools. Let's go ahead and take a look at the cropping tool for our picture. And then we'll take a look at the background removal tool here as well. So I'll go ahead, maybe I want to crop this picture. So maybe I want to remove some of the space here at the top. Maybe I want to just kind of remove it from here as well. So I can do that. I'll go ahead and click on my picture and I'll click on the picture format contextual tab and the size command group. I'll go ahead and click on the cropping tool here. So once I click here, I am in cropping mode. So here are my different cropping handles that I can use. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and move everything up here. I want to come to about here. And I'll come down just a little bit from the top, coming from the sides as well. So there's my new picture. That's what the new picture would look like. Now, what I can do is just click away from the picture. And as you can see, I just cropped the picture from the bottom, the sides, and the top here as well. So that's the cropping tool that we can use. Now, if you made a big mess of your picture, what we can always do is we can reset the picture. We can reset the picture based on the formatting that we chose or the formatting and the original size. So if I want to reset everything here, I'll click on Reset Picture. If I click on Reset Picture, that basically removes the formatting, so the styles and the effects here, but it's still cropped. If I click on Reset Picture and Size, it puts my picture back to the original size. So here's one of the problems that we face when we insert pictures. It's really big, we can't see it. No need to panic. What we're going to do is locate the Picture Format tab, and we're going to resize it using the width here. So if I go here, I'll just click on that down arrow until it comes back into focus. I can actually see it on my slide. Notice as I'm using this tool, it's basically maintaining the aspect ratio. So it's not distorting my picture. It's not making it flat or so forth and so on. So I'll just go ahead and do that until I get it to the size that I like. I can also resize the picture by using one of these corner handles. If I use the corner handles to resize the picture, it does not distort the picture. If I use this top or bottom or left or right, this will distort the picture. So I don't want to use those. I want to use one of these to either make it a little bigger and still maintain the aspect ratio here as well. So that's how you reset the picture. Let's go ahead and insert another picture here. And let's take a look at the background removal tool. Let's see if I can find my buddy, the eagle here. So I want a picture of this eagle, but let's see, maybe I'll grab this one. I want to remove the background from it. I'll go ahead and insert that into my content placeholder. And I'm going to make it a little bigger so I can see it a little better here. So again, I'll use the corner resize, not one of the side ones here. Notice how it flattens the picture. So I'll use one of the corners here. And let's see. I'll put it over this one for now so it doesn't get in the way. So a really nice picture, but I want to go ahead and remove the background. I just want to kind of cut out my eagle from this picture here. Right? So we do have a remove background tool. I'll click on shape format, and here is my remove background. Once I click on here, it's going to put me into the remove background editor. It's a simple editor. If I click here, it gives me a couple of different options here. Now take a look at what it actually did. Pretty good job. It actually removed most of the background for me. So it automatically tries to remove the background. This one is very, very good. I actually don't really need to do anything here. I'm going to go ahead and click on keep changes. And look at that. So it removed the background completely for me. And now I can go ahead and crop this. I don't need all that white space here. Get rid of all that white space. So this worked a lot better than I expected it to. Sometimes you just need to kind of interact with it. But let me go ahead and insert another one. I'll insert my other eagle. So stock image. And I'll grab this one here. And just make it a little smaller. Okay, so that's fine. I'm going to delete this other one. I'll just click on it and press the delete key. And I'll delete this content placeholder as well. Okay, so here's my eagle. Let's take a look at the background removal tool. Okay, so this one did a pretty good job, but you can see it's still trying to remove parts of the head here. So at this point, what I need to do is I have two options. I can choose to mark the areas I want to keep or mark the areas I want to remove. It's removed most of it, so I want to keep the head here. And that did pretty good. And I want to keep the talons, so here are the talons down here. I want to remove the background from between the talons here. So I'm just kind of pointing to where I want to keep, where I want to remove. And there you go. That looks pretty good. I think I'm good to go. So I'll click on keep changes. I can also discard all changes if I just don't like the way it looks. I'll keep my changes. Here's my eagle. I'm going to go ahead and resize it. And here we go. So that is the background removal tool. Right? So pretty nice. Now remember, you can always upload pictures into, so if you have a picture on your computer, you can upload it right here into PowerPoint. Take advantage of these simple editing options here as well. Let's finish up lesson 4 by taking a look at the eyedropper. Now, eyedropper is a really nice tool. In this case, what I want to do, I'm going to delete the picture of my eagle here. I can actually right-click and save this as a picture to my computer if I want to. This will save all those formatting that I used here. I'm going to go ahead and press delete just to remove it. And I'm going to go ahead and insert just a few text boxes here. I'll insert about 4. And I'll just call this 1. I'm going to go ahead and insert another text box. And this is going to be, I'll be specific, this is color 2. This is color 1. And I'll insert 2 more. This is color 3. And I'll do 1 more. I could duplicate the text box. I could copy and paste it as well, but I'll keep it simple. We'll talk about that in another lesson here. So here I have 4 colors. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I like this picture. So I want to go ahead and pick up some of the colors from this picture. So maybe from the shirt, I want to go ahead and apply that color to this text box here. Maybe this color to that text box, right? And so forth and so on. So if I wanted to recolor this text box here, if I click on it and click on Shape Format, here is the text fill. So I can choose a fill color. So remember, I can choose a style that will recolor it for me. But what if I'm not finding the color that I want? And if I click on, shape fill, not text fill. If I click on shape fill here, I'm pretty much limited to the colors based on the theme that I have selected here, or some of the standard colors. But as you can see, I can't find this color here. So what I can do is click on more fill colors, and now it's really advanced. I get this kind of color palette here I have to choose from. I can also click on custom and put in the RGB value if I knew what it was. I do not know what the RGB value is of this color. So I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel. But wait a minute, what I can do is I can use the eyedropper. I'll click on the shape fill again. And if you take a look, right underneath more fill colors, here's the eyedropper. Pick a fill color by clicking within the app window. So pick a color outside of the app window, click and drag. Okay, let's go ahead and turn on the eyedropper here. So here's my little eyedropper. And basically what I do when I move over a color, if I just pause, it tells me what that color is. So this is light gray, and there's the RGB value. Well, I want this color for this shirt. So that's plum, RGB value 882739. Let's see what happens if I click on that color here. Well, look at that. It actually found that color and applied that color to my text box here. Well, let's try that again. Let's click on this text box here. I'll click on Shape Format. For the Shape Fill, I'll grab the eyedropper. And this time I want this color. So let's see what color this is. So that is dark green. So if I click on here, it's going to apply that color. So it's basically replicating that color from me from one object to another. Oh, well, let's see what else I can do with the eyedropper. What if I wanted to grab something else, like the color that's off of my slide? Maybe a color from another slide, or maybe a color from my ribbon, like this PowerPoint color here. Well, I can do that as well. It's a little tricky. Well, let's see. I want to grab this PowerPoint color up here. So I'll click on Shape Format. I'll click on Shape Fill. This is pretty close to it, but not really the color I'm looking for. Right. So I'll click on the eyedropper here. Now, once I move off the slide, notice my eyedropper disappears. So I want to get this color, but my eyedropper disappeared. If you want to grab a color off of the slide, you need to, while you're still on the slide, hold down the left mouse button and drag it. I'm still holding down the left mouse button. So now I can go ahead and pull in the color from anywhere on my screen, either on PowerPoint, another window that I have open. I can pull in color from anywhere. I'll go ahead and pull in this color. It's telling me it's red. And there we go. I'll go ahead and pull in the color from this slide here as well. We do have this color available, but just to demonstrate how we can do that, I'll grab my eyedropper again. So really, really cool tool. Again, I'll hold down the left mouse button. Now I can drag and pull in any color. So that's turquoise. And let's see what else is in here. I'll go ahead and pull that in. So that is the eyedropper. So that's how we can use the eyedropper to pull in colors from one object to the next here as well. So really, really nice tool, especially when you start to use PowerPoint often and you're customizing your designs. This is a really, really nice tool to be able to use. So go ahead and insert a few text boxes. Go ahead and add some text in there and use the eyedropper to take colors from your picture and add them to your text box. Welcome back. So that covers our first 4 lessons, completing Module 1. Now let's go ahead and save our work and run our presentation. So a couple of different things that we can do to save. We can press Ctrl+S. We can press F12, or we can press File and Save as well. If I press Control S, because I'm logged into my Outlook account, it's asking me to just save it to my OneDrive. I can give it a name and I can press Save. If I press the F12 key on my keyboard, it pulls up the folder structure on my computer. Now I can save it to my desktop or my documents. I'll save it to my desktop. I'll just call this PowerPoint Module 1. And I'll press Save. And there you go. I'm good to go and I am saved. So let's go back. I'll click on the first slide here and let's go ahead and run this in presentation mode. Here are the different views. Here's normal view. Here's the slide sorter view. So again, the slide sorter view allows me to kind of move things around in a simple way if I want to do that. This is helpful if you have a lot of slides. The next one here is the reading view. So this will run my presentation for me. I'm going to go back to the first slide here. So here's lesson 1. We talked about the start screen, the ribbon, slide layouts, and content placeholders. Lesson 2, we talked about developing a presentation. In lesson 3, we're able to format content, specifically using the Contextual tab. And then we're able to integrate images and formatting into our presentation. I'm going to run this in slideshow. I can also press F5 to run the slideshow. So here's my first slide. My title is missing. I need to fix that. If I go to the next slide, now I'm presenting in full screen mode. I can press Escape to end the presentation, or if I just keep going, it does that for me. End of the slideshow, click to exit, and I'm good to go. I'll go back to the normal view, and here we are. So we're saved. We're able to run the presentation. Not sure what happened to my title here. Oh, here it is. It was hiding. Another lesson, we'll take a look at how we can format objects when they don't behave, just like this. Okay, there we go. All right, very good. So congrats on completing Module 1. Let's go ahead. I'll share a file for Module 2, and we'll work on that file together. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and dive into Module 2. I do have my practice file open here for PowerPoint Module 2. Please make sure that you have that open. We have 5 slides here. Here's the title slide. And we have our 4 lessons. So lesson 5 is about managing objects. I already have some content on this slide for us. We'll take a look at different ways that we can manage them. Lesson 6 is all about adding tables. We'll go ahead and insert a table or 2. Lesson 4, adding and managing charts. So we'll go ahead and add a chart and manage the data there as well. Customize the chart. For lesson number 8, we'll take a look at what we can do to prepare before we deliver a presentation. I'll go ahead and turn the notes on. So every slide will have a set of notes, kind of different tasks that we'll be performing on those as well. So I'll go back here to lesson number 5, slide 2. Actually, I'll go back to the first slide, and I'm going to go ahead and choose a design. So feel free to choose a design. Right now, it's just very plain. So I'll go ahead and choose a quick design here. I'll keep it simple. I'll either go for wood type. And let's see what that looks like. So pretty simple, doesn't add a lot of visuals. I'll stick to wood type. And then we'll go ahead and jump into lesson 5. So go ahead and open up this practice file, come right back. We'll dive into lesson 5. Welcome back. So let's go ahead and jump into lesson 5. So what we want to do is just kind of overcome some of the issues that we will face when we have multiple objects on a slide here. So we can see that we have a shape, we have a text box, we also have 3 images here that we can work with. Well, we want to go ahead and create maybe our 1-year goals. You can use any scenario you'd like here. I'm going to go ahead and click on slide 3. We want to convert this slide to look like this. So this slide is well balanced. We can see everything is pretty aligned pretty nicely here. Right. Everything is kind of on the same line. We can see that our picture is center aligned on the text box. Our shape is center aligned on the text box and the picture as well. So let's go ahead and take a look and see how we can do this. Let's go ahead and click on slide number 2. So we'll be talking about grouping. We'll be discussing aligning objects as well. So the first thing I want to do, I need to determine, well, what kind of layout do I want? How do I want to change this here? I'm going to go ahead and change my title first. I'll call this my 1-year goals. I'll center align that, and I'll move it up a little bit. Don't need for it to take up that much space. Right. And I'll go ahead and accept the correction here. So 1-year goals. And so what I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and move these things around. So if you click on these different objects, if you click on an image, you can click anywhere on the image and you can pretty much move it around. So we can do that. With a shape, same thing. You click anywhere on a shape, you can move it around. Text boxes are a little different. Now, if I click inside of a text box, I can't move it. If I want to move a text box, I need to click on the border when I see that 4-way crosshair, and now I can go ahead and move it as well. Okay, just for now, I'm just going to go ahead and move my pictures over here to the right. And let's actually take care of that first. Let's go ahead and group these pictures together, and let's try and make them the same size. So to group an object together, what we're going to do, we're going to use the control command. So if you hold down the control key, so I'll click on my picture here. I'm going to hold down the control key and click on this picture. I'll hold down the control key again. I'll click on the third picture. So that is how you create a group. You can pretty much group anything. If I wanted to group my shape with this as well, I can go ahead and do that as well. I can also group my text box. But for now, let's understand how grouping works. So right now I have these grouped. So what I can do now is I can use my arrow keys and I can move these together like a group. So I can go to the right, I can go up, I can go down. I can do something like, if I click on the picture format here, if I wanted to give all of them the same style, I can do that. So I can put all of them inside of a metal frame. I'm going to go ahead and choose a style. I'll choose the rounded diagonal corner. And then I'll go ahead and resize all of them. So I'll click on my bigger picture here and I'll go ahead and just kind of resize all of them at the same time here. Right. So that's grouping. I can resize them together, or I can go ahead and move them together, or I can go ahead and apply the same type of style or the same type of picture effect or some different adjustments here as well. Really, I can only recolor them. To break away from the grouping, just click on a blank area, and now they're on groups, and now I can move them freely. But I want them to all be the same size. So I'll go ahead and check the size. I'm going to move my first picture over here underneath my text box. Just want to make sure it's kind of the same width. So I'm just going to resize it to what I like. Now what I'm looking for, when you're moving objects around, you'll get some temporary guidelines. As you can see, take a look at my picture. I have these 4 arrows here. I want to make sure it's the same width as my text box above. So I'm just going to go ahead and resize it until I see that vertical dashed line on the left and the vertical dashed line here on the right. So those temporary lines, they let me know that my picture is the same width as my text box. So that looks good. So what is the width of this current picture? Because I want my other pictures to have the same width. So if I take a look over here on picture format, I can see that it is 1.9 by 2.97. So I want to make sure that these are the same. So I'll click on my other picture and I'll make this 1.9 9, let's see, 1.97, 2.97. So 1.97 and 2.96. That's okay. I'll make this also 1.9, 1.97. Okay, so now they're all the same size. They all have the same picture style here as well. So that is how we group objects, and that's the benefit of grouping objects together. We'll see a little later, once we have them grouped, we can also animate them together as well. Go ahead and group your pictures together, apply a picture style, go ahead and resize them so that they're all the same size, and come right back. Now that I have all three of my pictures as the same size, I'll go ahead and set this up here. So the first thing I want to do, the next thing we'll talk about is arranging and aligning objects. We'll already see that when we're moving an object on the canvas, we get all of these little temporary lines here. Now look what happens if I move my image right in the middle of the slide. I get the vertical bar there and the horizontal bar. So that lets me know that I'm dead center or exactly in the middle of this slide, both vertically and horizontally. If I move to the right or to the left, there's that vertical line, lets me know I'm aligned right there. If I go up or down, I can see that horizontal line there as well. So also when you move an object, it lets you know how you're aligned in relation to another object. So right now, I can see that I'm on the same plane as my picture on the left. If I go up, it's showing me I'm aligned to my text box, to the middle of the text box, to the bottom of the text box. And right now I'm aligned to that picture right there as well. So look out for those temporary lines. We can also turn on the grid lines or the guidelines. If I click on the View tab, here I can go ahead and turn on, I can even turn on the ruler if I want to. I can turn on all three of these options. Let's see what I get. So here's the ruler. So as I kind of move, we can see where I am in relation to the ruler, both vertically and horizontally. Here are the grid lines. So grid lines are a really nice way to show where one object is in comparison to another. And then we have the guides. And so the guides gives us the vertical guide here and the horizontal guide. So lots of different things. I'll go ahead and turn off the grid lines. I just want the guides and the ruler for now. So when we're arranging and aligning objects, we need to first decide what we want to do. So remember, we want a horizontal alignment. So 3 columns here as well. So the first thing I need to do is position my first object exactly where I want it to be. Everything else will be aligned based on that first one here as well. So I'll take my first text box here. I just want to align it to the left margin here. Let me move my shape out of the way. And I just want to focus on this. I want to keep going to the left until I want to make sure I'm lined up with my text box here, my title box rather. So I'll move it to the left, right there. So that's as far as I want to go on the left. And I'll come down a little bit, maybe to about here. My first object is in place. Everything else will be based on that object. Now my picture, I'll go ahead and align this. I can see it's aligned. I'll just move it down just a little bit. It's aligned with my text box here. And now here is I want to make sure that my little shape here with the number 1 is aligned, center aligned on my picture and my text box. So there we go. The first 3 objects are aligned. And now I want to go ahead and add another text box, 2 more text boxes, and align these pictures as well. So what I can do, I can duplicate this text box if I want to. So to duplicate an object, I'll press Control D. So I'll click on my text box here. I want to make sure I'm clicking on the border and not inside. Okay, so I'll click on the border. I see the solid line, and now I can press Control D. It basically duplicates that for me. So any style, anything I had in there would have been the same. Now I'll use those temporary guides to make sure I'm aligned horizontally with my first text box, and then I'm aligned with my picture on the bottom here as well. I'll go ahead and duplicate that one more time, so I'll press Control D. And sometimes when you duplicate it again, it kind of distributes it evenly, so it's the same space between the first one here, which is pretty good. So at this point, I'll go ahead and make sure everything else is aligned. I'll go ahead and align my picture here. Make sure everything is okay. I'm gonna make sure my pictures are the same height. Need to move this one up a little bit here. And there we go. So our 3 text boxes and our 3 pictures are aligned. Now I can duplicate my shape here. So I'll press Control D. And I'll press Control D again. And so here are my shapes. I'll go ahead and make sure this one is center aligned on my picture. And I'll move this one here. Make sure this is centered aligned on this picture as well. And I'll go ahead and make these a little bigger. So I'll group my shapes, hold down the Control key. Now when you're grouping shapes, I want to make sure I click on the border of the shape. If I try to click on the inside, it doesn't work. I want to click on the border, hold down the Control key. I'm just going to resize these, make them a little bigger, make them as big as I want to. Maybe about, not that big. Now I can kind of move them. I want to center all of them on each picture. I'll go ahead and change this to number 2. So this is goal number 2. This is goal number 3. I'm good to go. I'll turn off the guides. I'll turn on the grid lines. Just make sure that I'm centered here on each of them. That's centered. That's centered. And that's centered. Make sure they're all on the same horizontal plane. That looks pretty good. So I'm good to go. I pretty much have everything arranged exactly the way that I want it to be. So I'm good to go. What we can do now is if we want to go ahead and add a style to these text boxes, we can go ahead and do that. So if you want to grab a quick shape format, give those a particular style, you can go ahead and do that. And go ahead and add a style to each of your shapes here as well. And come right back. Welcome back. Okay, I'm going to turn off my grid lines here. So I'll click on the View tab. I'll uncheck the grid lines. I'll also turn off the ruler. Don't really need that right now. Now let's put it all together. Let's go ahead and animate some of these different objects here. So this slide clearly states our 1-year goals. We can see our first goal is here, enroll in martial arts. Oh, I need to go ahead and change the text here. I'll type learn a new language. And the third one is travel to Europe. There we go. All right, so we have everything here. So we have a number representing the sequence, a picture representing the goal, and the text representing the goal as well. Let's click on the Animations tab. Now, here's the Animations tab. Here are different types of animations that we can use. We're just going to use a simple animation. We'll just use the wipe animation. You can try them out when you pause the video. I'll go ahead and click on my picture here, and I want my picture to come in with an animation. So I'll choose the wipe animation for my picture. So that's the first animation on the slide. If I click on preview over here to the top left, I can get a preview to see what this will look like. So when I go from slide number 1 to slide number 2, this is how it will be revealed after I click on the sequence here. So let's just animate our pictures. So we can see the numbers here. Here's the first animation, here's the second animation, and then we'll have a third animation over here. So I'll click on my airplane here. I'll click on wipe. And let's see what this looks like. So I'll go ahead and run this in reading view. Again, reading view is great because it doesn't take up the whole screen, and I can still manage other windows if I want to. So I'll click on the reading here. And there we go. So this is what the slide looks like. So we can see that we have the text boxes and the numbers in the sequence. If I click next, or if I click to the right, it reveals that picture for me. If I click to the right again, here's the other picture. And if I click to the right one more time, here is the third one here as well. So animation is a really good way to kind of reveal things, or to reveal a lot of content on one slide, just one at a time, as opposed to revealing all the content here as well. I'm going to go back to normal view, go back to slide 2. So that's not really what I want though. What if I want, my text box and my picture to come in at the same time? If I go ahead and give my text box here an animation, well, it's not going to come in sequence. So what I want to do, I want to create an animation so that my text box and my picture comes in at the same time. Same thing here for the second one, and the same thing here for the third one. So I'm going to have 3 animations on this slide. So when this slide is seen, the only things that will be visible are my actual numbers right here. 1, 2, and 3. So your audience already knows they're expecting 3 different goals or content here as well. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and remove the animations. So I'll say none. Just going to reset everything here. Okay, now I'll do it. Picture, text box, wipe. 1 animation. Picture, hold down the control key, text box, wipe. There's my second animation. Picture, text box, wipe. And there we go. Let's go ahead and run that. I'll press F5 to run the presentation. Here's my title slide. Here's my second slide. We can see the numbers here. If I click, or if I press next, or if I use the arrow key, notice how it comes in as 1 animation because we grouped the text box and the picture together. I could have even grouped the shape down here with it if I wanted to, but I wanted to keep it simple, kind of like a reveal. So here's animation number 2, learn a new language. Animation number 3, travel to Europe. And we're good to go. So pretty good. So go ahead and check out the different animations. Right? Just click on a picture, check out the different animations that are available, and then go ahead and group your animations together. You may need to remove the animations and then group them like I did, so you don't run into any conflicts. So check them out, go ahead and animate them and come right back. We'll move on to our next lesson. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and move on to lesson number 6, adding tables. Adding tables is a great way to condense information so that your audience can basically interpret the information more efficiently. Let's go ahead and insert a table. We want a table that looks like this. So instead of writing out our 1-year goals, we can express our 1-year goals in the form of a table. So we'll have a title, we'll have our different headers here, the goal, the priority, the progress, and the estimated cost for that particular goal here as well. So let's go ahead and use this. I'll go back to slide number 3. And because I'm using a content placeholder, I can go ahead and insert a table by clicking on the table icon right here. The other way to insert a table is to click on the Insert tab. And once I click on the Insert tab, so here's table. So those are 2 ways that we can insert a table. Now let's just quickly take a look at the different ways that we can insert a table. If I click on this drop down here, I can go ahead and draw the table. As you can see, if I want like a 4x4 table, my slide is already showing what that table will look like. That's probably the simplest way to do that. I can also insert a table. So if I click on insert a table, it basically asks me how many columns and how many rows would I like. So I can say 4 by 4. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel here. We also have the capability to use an Excel spreadsheet to insert a table. We'll take a look at that in just a little bit. The Excel spreadsheet is going to give us the Excel ribbon that will allow us to incorporate more advanced features of the table, such as calculations and more styles and designs, things like that. For now, let's go ahead and click on the Insert Table icon inside of our content placeholder. And it gives us the option, how many columns and how many rows do we want? Well, for now, let's just say we want 3 columns and we want 3 rows. Let's go ahead and press OK. My content placeholder has been replaced by my 3 by 3 table. Before I start working on the table, I might want to go ahead and give it a quick design. So notice, because we're working with a table, we actually have 2 contextual tabs. One is for the table design, so this is all things cosmetic. And then we have the layout. So with these 2 tabs gives us all the tools we need to be able to manage this table. We'll keep it simple. We'll take a look at some of the essential tools that we need to use. For now, I'm going to go ahead and choose a table design. So when it comes to the table design, we can see that we have recommended best match for our document. Don't like those though. We have light styles. We have medium styles, and then we have some dark tables down here at the bottom as well. So kind of a table for all different types, whatever you're looking for here as well. I'm going to go for a medium table. I'll give it this medium style accent 1, and I'm good to go. Let's go ahead and enter some data into our table. So the very top line is going to be my title. So I'll just call this 1 year goals. Down here on the bottom, the first one is going to be my actual goal. I'll press the tab key to move to the next cell. So that's my goal. This will be the priority. Let's say on a scale of I don't know, 1 to 10. 10 being the highest priority. And then over here, let's put the progress. So how far I am along that goal here. I'll add my first goal. And my first goal, let's say enroll in martial arts. Okay. I'll put the priority. This is priority, high priority, so I'll go 10. And the progress, this is actually about 50% complete, right? But I do have other goals, so I want to go ahead and add another row here. So to do that, I'm going to click on the Layout tab. Now, once I click on the Layout tab, all the way to the far left, we see a Rows and Columns command group. Now, this is where I want to go ahead and insert rows. So I can insert a row above, I can insert a row below. I do want to insert a row below, so I'll go ahead and click on Insert Row Below. As a matter of fact, I want 2 rows, so I'll click it 2 times to add 2 rows. And there we go. I'll go ahead and enter my data in here. I also want another column to the right because I want to be able to add one more for the estimated cost. So I'll click on the column, and now I can either, now that I've selected this particular column, I can either insert one to the left or I can insert one to the right. I want to insert one to the right, not to the left. So I'll click on Insert Right to add another column. There we go. I'll go ahead and put in the estimated cost. And there we go. So that's how we insert a table. That's how we choose a table design or a table style. That's how we add a row and or a column. And we can simply just type in each of these cells and enter our information. Go ahead and fill out the rest of your table and come right back, and we'll take a look at some other table tools. Welcome back. So I went ahead and inserted all of my text here into my table. So what I want to do now, I want to go ahead and merge the cells here on this top row. So as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 cells. I want to merge them and just have one single cell for my title that will be centered here as well. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and select, just click and drag and highlight all of these cells on that top row. Then I'll click on the Layout tab. Now on the Layout tab, let's talk about formatting the actual table. So when we're formatting the table, we're talking about the Layout tab here. And over here in the Merge Cells command group, I'm going to go ahead and choose the Merge Cells command. That will convert these 4 cells into one. I'll go ahead and do that here. And there we go. I can see that it's just one cell here at the top. But the next thing I want to do, I want to go ahead and align it. So right now it's aligned to the left of the cell. And as a matter of fact, if we take a look on the Layout tab in the Alignment command group, we can see that it's basically aligned to the top left of that cell. Actually, by default, all of my cells here, everything is aligned to the top left of each cell. So for this particular cell, I want to go ahead and make sure that everything is centered to the middle. So I'll go ahead and click Center and Center. So now it's centered vertically and horizontally in this cell as well. Now I want to do the same thing with the rest of my table. So notice when I ran that command, it only applied to this particular cell. So it only applies to what you have selected. So I'm going to go ahead and press Control A inside of my table. So if I press Control A, it highlights everything on my table here. Once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and center everything. So there we go. I was able to center everything and I'm good to go. Now I do want my table to stand out a little bit here. Let's see what else we can do. So we took a look at inserting rows and columns. We used the merge. We took a look at some alignment options here as well. Now we can go ahead and interact with the cell size if we want to, or I can click on my table and click on distribute columns. So if I click here, nothing really happens. If I click on distribute rows, nothing really, well, I do get a little bit here. So it attempts to make every row the same height and every column the same width. It looks like all of my columns are already the same width, so it did not really make any changes here as well. So if you maybe inherited a PowerPoint file that has a table and things just look really uneven, you can choose the distribute rows and distribute columns command, and that will take care of things for you. I can also resize the table. If I grab one of the fill handles here, right now it's perfectly aligned, but if I want to make it bigger, I can go ahead and do that. I can even kind of do this. So you can pretty much resize the table in any fashion that you want here as well. So I'm good to go. So again, any formatting options, we need to click on the Layout tab to be able to do that as well. Now, if you want to delete a particular row or a particular column, it's a matter of clicking on the row. You don't have to highlight the entire row. If you want to, that's okay. Just click on any row that you want to. And here's the delete command. So we can delete the entire table, we can delete the entire row, or we can delete that column. If I choose delete row, it deletes the row for me. Now I only have these 3 rows here. I'm going to go ahead and undo that. So I'll press Control Z, or I'll just press undo. Here's my row again. Same applies for deleting a column. Just choose the delete. And you can choose to delete a particular column as well. So those are the basics for formatting a table. Go ahead and make those formats. Last thing I'll do, I want my top 2 rows here to be bold. I want it to stand out. And I want my items on the left to stand out as well. I'll make those bold. And there we go. I'm all done. If you want to go ahead and change the table style, you can go ahead and do that and come right back. So we were able to insert a table. Just to note, we can also copy a table from another Microsoft Office application. So if we have an existing table in a Microsoft Excel file, we can copy and paste that table right here into PowerPoint. Now we can manage the table in here as well. If we had a table in Microsoft Word, we can also copy and paste that here. We can also copy and paste a table from a web page and manage it here as well. For now, I'm going to go ahead and insert a new slide. So I'll insert a title only slide, and I'll quickly just demo how we can add tables via Excel. So maybe you want some more tools to be able to kind of work with your table. Let's go ahead and click on the Insert tab here. And let's use the Excel spreadsheet option. So I'll go ahead and click on Excel spreadsheet. And it's thinking. And notice it opens up the Excel. So notice here's my PowerPoint up here. But right now I'm working with the Excel interface. So basically my ribbon has been replaced by the Excel here. Well, this gives me all the tools I need. I'm going to make this a little wider. So here's my Excel spreadsheet. And now I can go ahead and do something like go ahead and just add my data in here. So maybe I'll just put some basic information in here. I'll just put sales rep. And I'll pause this and finish this up so you don't have to watch me type everything here. Okay, so here's my completed data here. So I have a few sales reps. We're tracking their weekly sales. So for example, week 1, Jane D had sales of $21.38.32. Now this is where the Excel interface comes in, because now I can use the Excel tools. So I can give all these the accounting format. And I could even drop in some summaries and things in here if I want to. Use some calculations. I'll keep it simple though. I'm simply going to convert this to a table. And I'll go for this style here. All right. So here's my nice table. And once I'm done, I simply just need to click away. So how do we get rid of this? Once I click away, I click on a blank area on my slide here. It's going to close the Excel overlay and it's going to insert this table for me. So I'll go ahead and click away from it. I'm done. And there is my table. Sometimes this will happen. It's actually showing too much detail. I don't want all of these blank cells in here. So it doesn't happen all the time. So to overcome that, I want to go ahead and edit this table. Now, one thing to note, notice after I inserted the table, PowerPoint is not treating it as a table, it's treating it as a shape. So I cannot make any adjustments here to the table. If I want to edit it, I need to double click on it. So I'll double click the table, the shape here rather. And now it reopens the Excel overlay for me. And I'm just going to resize this window here. I only want to see these particular cells. Let's see if this will work for me. There we go. Now it's misbehaving. There we go. And let's close that. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so almost there. I'm going to make this a little bigger. Okay. So this basically gives us the result of what we created in Excel. We cannot make any changes here, but if we want to, we simply just need to double click on it. And we can go ahead and make any changes. Like for example, I'm going to remove the filters. I don't need those buttons showing up here at the top. And I'm still trying to get rid of this little problematic. There we go. So I'll click away. And there we go. So that looks better. So it's almost treating this as a picture, right? Or an output as well. So if you want to use Excel to just have some more robust functions and features and calculations, you can use the Excel overlay to insert your table into PowerPoint here as well. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and take it a step further by adding a chart to our PowerPoint presentation. So just like with a table, we have two opportunities to insert a chart. I can either click on the Insert tab, go ahead and insert a chart. I can insert a chart from my content placeholder as well. I can also insert a chart from Microsoft Excel. So I can copy and paste an existing chart from Microsoft Excel. We'll keep it simple. We'll go ahead and insert a chart. Now, when we insert a chart, we will get a temporary Excel basic interface. We basically need to add our data to the interface. Let's go ahead and click on Insert Chart, and let's see what we are provided with. So the first thing it asks us is, well, what type of chart do we want to use? So we have clustered column, a really nice chart to be able to display a lot of values. We have line charts, pie charts. We can always change this a little later. Some of the more modern ones like a tree map or sunburst. These are pretty good for displaying one value at a time or one series at a time. I'll keep it simple. I'll insert that first clustered column chart. I'll press OK. So we'll notice that we have two things. I'm going to move this around just a little bit here. Here's our Excel window up here at the top. And down here is the actual chart. I'm going to resize this, make this a little bigger so I can see all of the data. So basically, whatever data we place in our little Excel window here will be displayed on the actual chart. So for example, if I were to put, let's say my name here, right? Maybe as a sales rep, I'll go for just a couple here. So we can see as we're typing the information in Excel, we can see that it's appearing down here on our chart. So it's all based on the data that we have up there. Now I could actually copy and paste the data in here as well. If I already have the data from Excel or from the table that I created earlier, I can paste it in here as well. But let's just put in a couple of quarterly sales values here. Right. And I'll just start plugging in some numbers. So let's go 5,000. So as we can see, it's already displaying here on our chart. I'm going to go ahead and put the $ in front. These here as well. Because when we turn on the data labels, we want to be able to see the $ as well. I'll put 2,500 for here, 4,400. This is going to be 2,000. So I'll just follow the numbers here, multiples of 1,000. So 3,500, 1,800, 3,000, and 4,500, and 5K. And there we go. So that's it. So once I close this here, here is my actual chart. So that is how you insert a chart, and that is how you add data to your chart. Go ahead and add some data, come right back. We'll take a look at some customizations. We'll take a look at how we can edit the data and so forth and so on. Now we were able to insert a chart and add some data to the chart here as well. What if we wanted to do something like edit the data? Well, we have two contextual tabs here for the chart. Really is just the chart design though. The format, just really some of the shape formatting tools that we can use. I'll stick to chart design, and under chart design, just like with our table, we can choose a style. Now these styles are based on the theme that you have selected. I did choose the wood type theme, so here are the different styles that I have available. I can also edit the data if I want to. So what if I wanted to make some changes to the data here? What if M. Jones did not have 7,000 for Q3, but 8,000? Well, I can go ahead and do that. So I'll go ahead and click on Edit Data. And basically reopens the Excel overlay for us. And now for Q3, instead of 8,000, I'll put, 7,000, I'll put 8,000. We can already see it's being applied here as well. going to go ahead and close this. Now, before I close this, another thing that I can do while I'm here, so I can actually change or update my data here. I can also decide what I want to be displayed on the chart. So for example, what if I only wanted Q1 and Q2 to be displayed on the chart, but not Q3? So we just want to focus on the first half results. If you take a look at the bottom right, here's our little fill handle, that little square. So this basically lets us know how far our data reaches. So right now it goes to column D and row 5. If I drag this over to column C and row 5, it's only going to show Q1 and Q2. So let's take a look at that. I'm going to go ahead and grab this handle right here. So notice I have a white cross. When I move my cursor over that little small square, it changes to a diagonal two-way arrow. That lets me know that I'm ready to go ahead and interact with it. I'm going to go ahead and click and hold and drag it to the left so that only Q1 and Q2 are being displayed. If I let go, take a look at my chart. We can see that only Q1 and Q2 are being displayed here now. So that's a quick way to kind of pick and choose what you want to be displayed on your chart. I do want Q3 as well. I'll go back over here and I'll go ahead and close it. So that's pretty much how you edit data and how you select data as well. If you want to select your data the traditional way, you can click on the select data here. And we get this option over here where we can choose what we want to be displayed, or we can just go ahead and highlight the ranges that we want to be displayed here as well. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel. I'll close this out and I'm good to go. Let's talk about chart design. Now, when we're customizing the chart, there's a lot of options that we can use. We'll just take a look at some of the essentials here. At the top right of the chart, you'll notice these two icons. The first one with the plus sign, these are the chart elements. The second one here is the paintbrush. If you hover over the chart elements, it tells us that we can add or remove things like the title, the legend, the grid lines, and the data labels. If you hover over the paintbrush, we can set a style and color scheme for our chart. We'll do both. First, let's go ahead and click on the chart elements here. And you'll notice we can turn things off or on, like turn the axis off or on. Right now it's turned on. I'll go ahead and turn it off. And as you can see, we lost all of our labels down here. So it's pretty difficult to explain what we're looking at here. So I'll leave those turned on. And the axis titles. So this just gives us a little more detail, gives us an extra text box here on the vertical and horizontal plane. We can type in there, add some more content. We can even format the text that's in here if we want to, change the font, the color, the size. I don't need that. I'll go ahead and turn that off. Here's my chart title. I'll go ahead and actually put something in here. I'll say quarterly sales. And as I mentioned before, I can go ahead and change the color if I want to. I'll make it I'll make it bold and italicized as well. Now for each of these elements, you'll notice that there's a small arrow to the right of it, indicating that we have some other options such as the title. It's being overlaid or above the chart. We have data labels. So if we turn the data labels on, we can see the numerical values on top of each of the bars as well. Here's the data table. This is like a hybrid chart. So we have the chart on the top, and then we have the Excel table down here on the bottom. This works well if you have a small table. If you have a large table, you may not want to use that. I'll go ahead and turn that off. The good thing with the data table, it does come with its own legend. So I can actually turn off this legend down here and save a little bit of space as well. We have error bars, not really applicable here. And then we have the grid lines. We can turn them off. We can turn them on. Don't really need them if you have the numbers here. And then we have the legend. I can turn them off or on, or I can move them to the right. Now they're over here to the right, or I can move them to the Let's see, move it to the left as well, the top, the bottom. I'll leave them here on the bottom. So those are the different chart elements. Let's click on the paintbrush. So when you click on the paintbrush, you'll notice that you have 14 different styles to choose from. So here's style 14. And this is a really nice way to quickly choose a design for your chart. Some of these will kind of move things around for you. So style number 2, you can see my legend has moved. You can see that my values over here on the vertical axis are gone. And take a look at the way that my data labels are being displayed. They're vertical instead of horizontal. So go ahead and choose one of these styles. I like style number 8, nice dark style. I also like style 14 as well. You can also choose a color. So depending on the theme that you have selected, you have different colorful palettes to choose from. And then you also, on the bottom, you have different monochromatic, different shades of the same color here as well. So go ahead and modify your chart. Go ahead and interact with some of the chart elements. Go ahead and choose a chart style, change the color as well, and come right back. Now, after formatting the chart, there's some other things that we can do. Before we insert a chart from Excel, we can also change the chart. So if I click on the Chart Design tab, if I want to change this to another type of chart, I can go ahead and do so. This brings us back to our first window where we can change the type of chart. So if I wanted a stack column chart, I can go ahead and do that. If I want a 3D clustered column, I can do that. If I want a line chart, here are different line charts that will integrate my existing data for me. If I want a pie chart, now remember a pie chart tends to just focus on one value at a time here as well. Right, so it looks like it's focusing on the, let's see what week that is, a particular week. Looks like the week or the quarter 3, not sure which one that is. Then we have bar, and let's see the tree map. So the tree map here, the bigger the box, the higher the value. So again, this is going to be based on quarters here as well. So we can change this to a different type. Let's try the tree map. I'll go ahead and press OK. And if I hover over it, it says this is 5,000. Doesn't really give me too much detail. I would need to go ahead and basically go ahead and go into the advanced menu to kind of change to see what's being displayed here. So I'm going to go ahead and change this back to a clustered column. I'll go for a 3D. I'll press OK, and I'm good to go. Now, let's go ahead. I'm going to insert another slide here. And this time, I'm just going to go ahead and insert, or I'll copy a chart, or paste a chart from Excel. And let's see what options we have here as well. I already have my chart. Here's my Excel window. So here's a chart that I created from the data. So I already have my chart here, so I don't feel like building this all over again in PowerPoint. So I'll click on the chart. I'll right click on it. I'll copy it to the clipboard. I'll come back to PowerPoint. I'll click inside of this content placeholder. And I'll go ahead and paste it. So I can use the destination theme and embed the chart into PowerPoint. So I can manage the chart right here in PowerPoint. Or I can just kind of override the theme that I'm currently using and basically carry over the theme from Excel. I don't want to do that. I prefer to stick to the destination theme. And then we have use the destination theme and link the data. So basically what this will allow us to do, if I make any changes to that chart in Excel, it will automatically update here in PowerPoint. Right. Same thing here. And then we have a picture. So I'll go ahead and use the destination theme and link the data. So there we go. So here's our chart. Let's take a look at week 1 here. So this is the week 1 for Sarah. So Sarah week 1, 27, 15, 20. Let's go ahead and make a change here in Excel for Sarah's week 1. And to do that, I need to go right here, Sarah week 1. I'll change this to 5,000. We can see the chart has updated here for Sarah. Let's take a look at PowerPoint. And there we go. We can see that it updates right away as well. Right. So that's pretty much how that works. So if I want to make any edits, I simply need to edit the data on the Excel file. And as long as I have PowerPoint open, it's going to go ahead and update that for me automatically. Very good. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and move on to lesson 8. So we'll just talk about preparing to deliver a presentation. Now, when it comes to doing this, what we want to do is we want to run our spell checker. Now, we'll notice that the spell checker is already kind of running in the background. So if I had any grammatical errors, it would have already caught it for me. But I'll go ahead and run the spell checker anyway. Spell check is complete. I'm good to go. The next thing to do is to check our animations and our transitions. Right now we don't have any transitions in here. Let's go ahead and run the presentation. Let's go ahead and save it first. So I'll press Control S, make sure it's saved to my computer. And then I'll go ahead and run the presentation. So remember, if I want to run the presentation, I can either press F5, I can go ahead and click on the Start Slideshow from the beginning from the Slideshow tab. I can also click on the slideshow icon here as well. So whichever one you want to, I'll click on the Slideshow tab and I'll run this from the beginning. There's the shortcut right there, F5, to start the show from the first slide. So here's my slide that I animated. Really nice slide. Everything is nicely aligned there as well. Here's my table. Here's my Excel table. Here's my chart. Here's my Excel chart. Here's lesson 8. And then that's the end of the slideshow here as well. Let's add a transition. I'll click on transitions here. And the transitions basically allow us to have some kind of entrance effect as we go from one slide to the next. So I'll choose there's a lot of transitions here. I want you to go ahead and try them all and choose the ones that you like. Some are very simple, some are very complex. If we scroll down, we can see we could even have the previous slide folding into the shape of an origami bird here. So lots of transitions that we can use. I tend to stick to the simple ones, something like wipe or push. I like the push transition. That's what it looks like, almost like you're scrolling through an endless web page. If I use the wipe, this is like you're kind of reading a book, turning the pages as well. I'll go ahead and choose the push transition. And now, after I've chosen the push transition, what I want to do, I want to make sure to apply it to all of my slides. Right? So I'll click on Apply to All, because right now, if I were to run this slideshow, so I can see it only applies the transition for the first slide. So what I'll do is I'll click on Apply to All, make sure that that's checked off. And let's test that here. There we go. So it's pushing down to each slide. So pretty nice. I'll press Escape to exit the slideshow here. And here we go. Right. So that is pretty much how that works. Let's go ahead and animate our chart. So let's go ahead and click on the chart that we inserted here. So I'll click on the chart. Let's go to animations and let's use the wipe animation. I want to show you something pretty cool here. So notice if I apply an animation to the chart, the entire chart comes in all at once. That's not really helpful. It would be nice if I can have the chart come in, you know, kind of one by one, like maybe M. Jones's total first and then J. Power and so forth and so on. Well, let's take a look and see what we can do. Depending on the animation that you choose, sometimes you will have effect options, which means you can determine how the animation works. Well, let's take a look at this. If I click on Effect Options here, again, this is for my chart. So by default, it's coming in as one object. Let's see what happens if I choose to come in by series. Look at that. That's pretty cool. So it's coming in by Q1, then Q2, and then Q3. Let me preview that again. Pretty nice. The other effect option is by category. So there we have the sales rep, M. Jones, and then J. Power, E. Cohen, and then R. Gupta. I'll try one more. Now, we're going one by one in sequence, which is pretty cool. So we do have options when it comes to animating our chart as well. We don't have the same for our tables though, but we can do it for our chart here as well. So very good. So go ahead and just run through your slideshow. Go ahead and apply a transition. Make sure to apply it to all of your slides. Choose the one that you like. Go ahead and add an animation for your chart. Go ahead and choose one of the effect options, 5 to choose from, and come right back and we'll take a look at the morph transition. Welcome back. Now let's finish up lesson 8 by talking about the morph transition. So if I click over here on the transitions tab, I can see that I have the morph transition. This is a pretty nice transition, really adds some nice flair and some dynamic content to your presentation here as well. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what the morph transition is all about. I want to discuss 3 different planets, Saturn, Mars, and Earth. But when I want to emphasize Earth, I want Earth to appear bigger than the others. And when I'm finished discussing Earth, I want to focus on Saturn. So Saturn will get bigger and my other 2 here will get smaller. It's going to appear as if I'm still working on one slide. As you can see down here, I have 1, 2, 3 slides. Let's go ahead and run the presentation and let's see what this looks like. I'll go to reading mode here. Okay, so here's my slide. I'm getting ready to discuss these 3 different planets. If I click next, so look at that. So Earth kind of morphs into shape, increasing in size, while Saturn and Mars morphs into a smaller shape. Well, I'm finished discussing Earth. Let's focus on Saturn now. So I want Saturn to increase in size while Mars and Earth decreases in size. So if I click next to go to the next slide, it still appears I'm on the same slide, but things are just kind of morphing into shape here as well. So that is the morph transition. So pretty cool. So let's go ahead and work on this together. First, I want you to go ahead and insert 3 text boxes and go ahead and insert 3 icons. So just click on the Insert tab, go ahead and insert an icon, and we have one for Saturn, we have one for Mars, and we have one for Earth as well. So go ahead and insert those 3 icons and insert those 3 text boxes. Right now, in terms of size, I have my icons are all about 2.58 high and wide as well. So go ahead and add those 6 objects and come right back. Let's go ahead and apply the morph transition. So it's a 3-step process. If we hover over the morph, it tells us the first thing we need to do is duplicate a slide. And then step 2, on the duplicated slide, just move things around. And then step 3, apply the morph transition. So let's go ahead and do that. We already have our slide. This is what it looks like. So I'll go ahead and duplicate this slide. To duplicate a slide, we can click on the slide here on the left pane. If we right click on it, we can choose the duplicate slide command. We can also press Ctrl D and that will duplicate it for us. Okay, so here's the original slide and here's the duplicated slide. So let's focus on the duplicated slide. So for here, I'm simply going to resize things. So for for Saturn and Mars, I want to decrease these to 1 one by one. So for the height, I'll just do that. That takes care of that. For Earth, I want this to grow to 4. So I'll type 4 here. So again, just click on the icon on the graphics format. In the size command group, just type a number for the height, and it makes it 4 by 4. Going to increase the width of my text box here, so it's just a little bigger, and that's about it. I want to keep it simple, don't want to do too much. So I do want to be able to duplicate this slide as well. I want to keep it going because on the next slide I want to make everything else smaller and increase the size of Saturn. So all we're doing right now on the duplicated slide, we're just following the steps. We're moving things around, resizing them. I'll go ahead and duplicate this slide as well. So I'm duplicated the duplicated slide. And for this one, I'll put this back to 1 inch for Earth. I'll fix my text box here as well. And then for Saturn, I'll increase this size to 4. There we go. Now I have to kind of move things around. I'll move this to the left a little bit so it's not overlapping with my Mars here. And I'll increase the size of the text box as well. And there we go. So the transition from this slide to this one is going to be Morph. And the transition from this slide to my last one is also going to be Morph. So what I'll do is I'll click on that second to last slide and I'll click on the Morph transition. Here's a nice little preview of what it would look like. I'll go to my last slide and I'll also apply the Morph transition as well. I don't want to apply the Morph transition for my first slide because there's nothing to morph yet. So I'm just morphing my 2 duplicated slides here as well. So let's run this in reading mode. Let's see what this looks like. So here's my slide. If I click next in the sequence, there it is. My Earth and my text box is growing. Everything else shrinks. And there we go. So pretty cool. Now I could even move things around. In this case, I just resized them, but I could have actually moved things around and we will see it morphing into its shape. Let's actually do one more. I'll go ahead and duplicate this one and let's move them around this time. So I'll right click, I'll go ahead and duplicate this one. Because I duplicated it, it automatically inherits the morph transition, so no need to do that. And on this last slide here, I'm going to go ahead and move things around. So I'll go ahead and let's see, maybe I'm going to make this smaller actually. Don't need that to be that big. There we go. I'm going to resize this just to make a little room for my other items here as well. Maybe what I'll do is I'll go ahead and stagger these. So Saturn will be here. Mars will be here. And Earth is going to be down here somewhere. And I'll put everything back to 1 inch. Not perfect, but we just want to go ahead and kind of see how this transforms into here as well. So let's go back. This time I'll run it slideshow view. Okay, so here's the first slide. Here's our first morph. Our second morph. And let's see what our third morph looks like. Pretty cool. So everything is moving into shape here as well. All right, very good. So go ahead and run the morph transition. Go ahead and duplicate as many as you like. What I've seen a lot of professionals do, they morph a few times and come back to the original slide as the last slide. So you can do that if you want to and come back and we'll wrap up. Welcome back. Well, hopefully you had fun with the morph transition. The next thing to do here is to print our presentation. If we do decide to print it via paper, we can press Ctrl+P, and that will open up the print dialog for us. I'll go ahead and press Ctrl+P. Here's the print dialog. Here's the true preview of what the printouts would look like, as long as we're using a color printer. And I can scroll through my slides. I can see what they look like, and I can make any changes if I need to. And we have all of the basic print dialog settings that we need to be able to use. If you do have the Microsoft Print to PDF printer, we can actually save this as a PDF file and that we can distribute. That's a good idea. Maybe your recipient does not have a copy of Microsoft Office. Any modern browser can read a PDF as well. So very good. I'm going to go back here and we're good to go. Now, we covered a lot here in this introductory course, and we have all the essentials that we need to create a dynamic presentation. As a quick recap, we're able to, in Module 1, understand the PowerPoint interface. We're able to design a presentation. We're able to insert and format text. We spend some time inserting and formatting images. Then for Module 2, we're able to work with objects, grouping, aligning, inserting and manage tables, charts as well. Then we're able to take a look at different types of animations and transitions as well. So congratulations on completing the course, and I look forward to seeing all of you in a future course at Learnit.